Hello everybody and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. I am on the wrong page again. And today is the 7th day of our 12 Days of Christmas special. And today we are going to be discussing a classic. It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life was released in 1946. Let that sink in for a second. 1946. Most of the people watching this video right now probably are going to live to see this movie turn 100 years old. Wow. So, believe it or not, alright, quick story before I talk about anything else. I'll say first of all, it was written by Francis Goodrich, Albert Hackett, and Frank Capra, and was directed by Frank Capra. So, funny story. I was in a production of this play. So, the same movie was put into a play version. The play version is slightly worse, in my opinion. But I played young George, the guy that gets slapped in the pharmaceutical place. I played him, and I played George's oldest son, Pete, I think his name was. I played both those characters in a production of It's a Wonderful Life 4 years ago. Interesting show. I liked it because I really didn't have to do anything. I had 10 lines. I just had to get slapped a lot. So, not a huge deal. That's a little fun fact about me. I was in that show. Ooh. I also portrayed the Grinch in Seussical Jr. That's my first ever thing. So that was from Monday, but still, interesting fun fact. Anyway, I did not like the play. Okay, I did not enjoy it. I read it, and I was like, I guess I'll audition for it because a friend of mine was directing, and I like his work, so I was like, I'll just try out, and then I got in. So then I did the play, but honestly I did not enjoy the play. I think the play was harder to follow. The movie, however, was easy to follow, extremely easy to follow. I had no issues concerning what was when and who was where. It was quite easy to follow. For those of you who have not watched this movie, which I guess normally I would say would be crazy because it's so old and everyone's watched it, but I hadn't seen it till today, so I guess I can't blame you for not watching it. Essentially what happens is it's a man named George, and you follow him basically throughout his entire life. And you learn that he's given up a lot for his building and loan, which is a little place, it's like a bank, but instead of that kind of stuff, he builds houses for people, and he loans them money. And it's him against Old Man Potter, who runs the banks and has most of the influence in the city. And essentially, what happens is we learn that George has given up a lot for the building and loan and for the town in general. And then at one day, his uncle accidentally loses, I forget how much money, it was $8,000 or something like that. It was a lot of money. He lost a lot of money. And it's going to put the building and loan out of business, and he's going to have to go to jail because he can't pay all of his people back the loans. It's a big problem. So George thinks, all right, this is it. I'm just going to kill myself and end it. It's not worth living. And then he prays first, because most people pray before they kill themselves. And God sends down Clarence, who is a guardian angel. And Clarence basically says, hey man, don't do that. He only has 10 minutes of screen time, though, which is kind of interesting because it's a big plot point. But it was I'm not even mentioning him in my actors because he's barely in it, so it's kind of interesting. Sorry, sidetracked. So then George is like, oh, I don't make anybody's life better, blah, 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 blah. So Clarence is like, okay. And then he makes it so that he was never born. Woo! And then he has to go through, an hour of understanding that he doesn't exist. And all of his friends are assholes, and everyone's, mean or dead or gone or changed. And George is not like the way it's run. It's Pottersville now, so Potter owns everything. And so he realizes that it's better to be alive And so then Clarence brings George back. George wicked happy. He's happy. He's going to jail. He's so happy. Blah 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 blah. And then the town gives him a lot of money. Gives him way more money than he needs to keep it running. He even gets a donation for thousands and thousands of dollars, and that should be able to keep him going for the rest of his life. So it's really nice that we got to see that happy ending there. And of course, Clarence gets his wings in the end because he's always fighting to get those wings. So let me talk about what I thought about the movie first before I do acting. So I think my thoughts about the movie are, for one, it's a little outlandish, right? Like, we're not going to see a guardian angel come down and change our life. But it's helpful to understand that if you look at something in a different perspective, we can understand something, right? Like, we're completely irrelevant, right? Like, the fact that I talk to you guys doesn't make much of a difference in your life, but it makes enough of a difference that something will chain react to a different thing, right? Like, say this video is like 10 minutes long, right? Which is always the goal. The goal is that these are 10 minutes long, like 10 to 15 minutes long, right? That's like the goal. You watch all the video, okay? Not much is going to change, right? Like, it's not going to change your mind about things. It's not going to change anything, really, except for the fact that you wasted 10 to 15 minutes doing this, which I appreciate. I really do. Thank you to all who are watching this right now. But if I come back and, and I realize, I didn't make videos, then you would not have watched these videos. And that would have saved you 10 minutes a day, right? So about an hour a week. And what you do in that hour could change everything. So it's cool that we can, like, look back and think reflectively on how we spend our time and all that stuff. And, like, I realize I need to spend more time doing this kind of thing. I think this is, like, really good for me. I have a good time doing it. And I like watching movies and I like talking about movies. So this is a really good platform. And it's already given me people to talk about it. I know that some people are avid about commenting, and it's always good when people comment. I get the notification and I always comment back. So make sure you drop a comment down below what you thought about It's a Wonderful Life. And I will 100% respond within a day. So yeah, that's like my main thought. That's like what I got out of it, which I think everyone will get something out of this movie. This movie is pretty great in terms of getting things out of it, and like morals, because some movies you can be like, oh, that's not a very good moral, or sometimes you won't get the same moral, which is better in my opinion. In this movie, you could probably get a couple things out of it, but I definitely got that it's good to look reflectively on yourself and what you do on your own time. And like, I like to reflect on what media I use and how I use it and how long I use it. I like to be regulated. I don't think that spending all the time on your phone is good for you. So like, sure, I watch like a 2-hour movie every day, and then I watch an hour of a show. It's 3 hours, and then I usually film it and upload. It takes me about an hour. And then I play on my phone every now and then, but not, super often. And then the rest of it, I'm like reading books. Like right now I'm reading Dune by Frank Herbert, which is really good so far. I'm not very far into it, but I read it while I edit. So it, when it takes, about 10 minutes to render the video, I read a book. And therefore I'm getting media, but I'm getting it in different formats. I think the issue is that, like the people who are always on Facebook but not on any other media, that's kind of like you're getting a tunnel vision of what you can do, right? Like, this is media. The whole screen is media, and you're just getting Facebook. That's all you're getting, right? But if you then, understand, you can go to Instagram, which I would never recommend, Snapchat, books, movies, film, television, and eventually you have a full open scope of medias to choose from, to learn from, to look at. A lot of my media is educational. I think books are educational. I think films and TV can be educational. Facebook probably is not educational. A lot of the TikTok people I follow are quite educational, but regardless, alright, this is a side rant about filtering, but if you want to, consider how often you're on media, what you do on media, and what you think is beneficial and not beneficial, which I'm not saying don't follow non-beneficial things. I love watching funny movies. I don't get anything out of it, but they're funny. Let's talk briefly, very, very briefly, about the acting, and then we'll cut it for today, alright? Sorry, I went on a little bit of a side rant, but I'm happy about the rant. I hope you guys are too. I like to sprinkle some interesting facts in there. I will be giving a video, probably, hopefully, about the college experience so far, my first semester, and what I've learned in each and every one of my classes. James Stewart as George Bailey. James Stewart was born to be an actor, pretty damn sure. He has the face that is perfect for an actor, right? Like, I just want to watch and see what his face does. And, like, I have this weird thing. It's really weird. Okay, I'm sorry. But I have this really weird thing where, like, when I'm watching a movie, I will try to copy the faces that they make, right? I like to, like, follow with my eyebrows and, like, see what kind of expressions they make, that kind of thing. Which kind of hurts my eyebrows when watching a show, if I'm being honest. It kind of hurts for a long time. But, I do it because I like to follow emotional patterns with my facial features. That way, my face will always emote what I mean when I'm talking. And therefore, people can't misinterpret my message as much. It's really interesting. I don't know why I started doing it. I've been doing it forever. But it's just something, so if you ever go to, like, the movies or something like that with me, and I'm, like, watching the movie, like, just understand that, like, it's just something that I do. It's kind of weird. But I couldn't do it because James Stewart is, like, really good at, like, emoting his face. I'm like, wow, it's so good. He was solid. I don't see anybody else playing George Bailey, which is really annoying because then I go see a play of it, and I'm like, oh, he's just not as good as James Stewart, which no one's as good as James Stewart. But I shouldn't be comparing people to James Stewart because he's pretty phenomenal. I don't know if he's been in other movies per se. I know he has been, but I don't know if they're any good. But maybe I'll take a look down there, and then maybe I'll watch some of those. Although I'm sure they didn't come out after, like, the 50s, and then he died. So we don't have any recent movies, so they're all super old, so we'll see. Donna Reed as Mary Hatch. I actually really liked her portrayal. I didn't think I was going to like it at first glance. I was like, she seems kind of too pretty to play somebody who really shouldn't be that pretty. But she was able to pull off, like, sophisticated kind of pretty, which is nice. I like people that can, like, be pretty and also be, like, kind of smart. And, like, even when she's closing at the library in the whole, like, oh, I'm not alive sequence, like, she looks good. Which is weird because I feel like she would have found somebody and married her by then, but whatever. Anyway, still, I really enjoyed her performance. Really, really solid. And then Lionel Barrymore as Mr. Potter. I didn't like Mr. Potter that much as a character. I think that maybe we should have made Mr. Potter younger and make him more of an adversary for George, because Mr. Potter, I feel like, is just going to die at some point anyway, right? Like, at that point, George could just wait it out. He's super old. At least that's how he appeared to me in the film. I think maybe choosing somebody younger would have been better, but maybe that's just a me thing. But that's going to wrap it up for today. It's pretty much all I have for you. That's all I want to talk about. I'm going to give this movie an A. I'm not going to give it an A+ because it's super long, and the adaptations of it are not great, which I guess I shouldn't judge it on adaptations, but I kind of am, because your reputation kind of precedes itself. But an A is still really good, and it's a solid movie. If you haven't seen it yet, you really should. I know that I didn't think I was going to particularly enjoy it, but I really did. I liked it, I got a lot out of it, and I don't know why I'm British. I liked it a lot. And for those of you who are interested in Christmas movies, this is definitely a classic for you. Thank you all for watching the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all have a phenomenal Sunday. Hope you have a great Sunday. I didn't know what day this is coming out. It comes out Sunday. I hope you guys have a great Sunday. Tomorrow we've got the Polar Express, so look out for that tomorrow morning. And as always, keep watching movies and television. Subscribe, stay educated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.